Can a free market adequately ensure nuclear power plant safety? Imagine a world where the safety of nuclear power plants is driven by market forces rather than government regulations. This idea is at the heart of the libertarian perspective. Libertarians believe that a free market can provide better safety for nuclear power plants if property rights and liability are clearly defined. They argue that government agencies, like the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, create inefficiencies and moral hazards. In their view, when operators are held fully responsible for accidents, they are more likely to prioritize safety. If a nuclear plant operator neglects safety, they face direct financial consequences. This creates a strong incentive to maintain high safety standards. Libertarians also emphasize the importance of private property rights. Owners would want to protect their investments and reputation. They would be motivated to implement the best safety practices to avoid accidents. Insurance markets would play a key role here, assessing risks and pricing coverage accordingly. If a plant owner fails to ensure safety, they could face lawsuits, higher insurance premiums, and loss of investor confidence. Currently, government subsidies and liability caps, like those in the Price-Anderson Act, limit the financial exposure of nuclear operators. Libertarians argue that these protections shift risk to taxpayers and reduce the incentive for operators to prioritize safety. By removing these limitations, the market would demand rigorous safety measures. Operators could not simply pass the costs of accidents onto others. Looking back at the 3 Mile Island incident in 1979, we see how it led to increased government regulation. Libertarians argue that this regulatory response stifled competition and innovation in the nuclear sector. They believe that a free market, with clear liability and property rights, would have encouraged better safety practices without heavy government oversight. Practical applications of this libertarian perspective include transferring government-owned nuclear assets to private ownership. This would ensure that operators have a direct stake in safety. Another step would be eliminating government subsidies that reduce risk incentives for operators. Creating a competitive insurance market for nuclear risks is also essential. Insurance premiums would reflect safety records, encouraging operators to maintain high standards. Finally, allowing market mechanisms to determine the viability of nuclear power plants based on safety and economic performance could lead to better outcomes than relying solely on regulatory approval. In essence, libertarianism posits that a free market, grounded in full liability and property rights, can ensure nuclear power plant safety. By aligning economic incentives with responsible operation, we can avoid the distortions caused by government regulation.